Hey, how are you? That's Tiger Woods made par at a golf tournament. How are you? That's good parking space at work. How are you? There we go. That's what I like to hear. I was supposed to be here with Dan Morgan-Jones of the Aspie World today. As is tradition, he has bailed. His partner's had a medical emergency, and he's had to have sympathy pains and stay in North Wales. I've come up from the Isle of Wight, so I deserve some kind of raise. But we were supposed to talk to each other for 45 minutes, and he told me yesterday that he couldn't turn up. So I am going to turn that moment into 45 minutes of spiel and shenanigans. Who's ready to come on this train with me? Hells yeah. By the way, I see children in the room and everything. I have the tendency to swear sometimes. It just falls out of my mouth. I don't have the security in my brain to stop the swearing. So, young lady, what is the worst swear word you are willing to hear? No. Jesus Christ, right. Okay, anyone uncomfortable with swearing? Awesome. Just a little bit. How far can I go? Yeah. What's the worst word, though? Just trying to get you to swear. It's absolutely fine. I want to talk to you about sliding doors moments in life. It's come up a couple of times in some kind of shenanigans in here, but I want to talk about sliding doors moments. Now, did anyone come and see my talk here last year? Does anyone remember what I said? Only two of you, so I can use the same jokes. It was the summer of 2022. And so I want to talk about sliding doors moments. Me and Daniel Morgan-Jones of the Aspie World, we met in a sliding doors moment, and it traces back to a butterfly effect that can only have happened because of the gift that I have in my brain, which is ADHD and forgetting to buy tickets for concerts. So it's 2005. That's how old this joke's going to be. There was a band playing in my local town, and I liked them quite a lot. They're called Zebrahead, punk rock, yeah. Woo. And I couldn't get tickets because I forgot to buy them. And they sold out, like, really quick. And I thought I was the only person who liked this band. And so I turned up at the venue 6 hours early with a clipboard and a little lanyard that I'd made saying, fan club moderator. And I got into the gig. I highly recommend. Carry a ladder, wear a high-vis jacket, or make your own lanyard. You can get in anywhere. He doesn't actually work for Autistic Minds. My man just found that T-shirt and was like, I'm getting in for free. So I get into the venue way, way early, and I used to work in pubs and used to grow up in a bar and everything, and I was like, hey, can I help you while you set up and everything? And they're like, yeah, but you work for a band, man. You don't have to help us. And I was like, I can tap a keg. And I did. I tapped a keg, and it was all good, helped them set up the bar. And then the tour bus pulled up, and they were like, hey, the band's here. And I was like, ditched the clipboard, got rid of the lanyard, ran out to the tour bus and was like, hey, I'm Alex. I work at the venue. Can I help get your gear in? And no one asked any questions. No one. Never. And I made myself so useful to both the band and the venue that they kept having me back. And the band came back for a tour later on that year, and they were like, hey, it's way cheaper for us to pick you up as a roadie in the UK than fly one over. Would you be interested in doing a UK tour with us? And I was like, yes. And they were like, quick question, are you 18? Yes. I was not. And I went on this tour with them, and we played in Wales. Local joke. And I can't remember where it was. It was at some venue somewhere in Wales. And these absolute nerds opened. And this little punk band called XMS3. And I got talking to them afterwards. I have a habit of just talking to people. I always want to make friends with everyone in a room at all times. Everyone. Make a line, we can all have a high five. And the bassist of that band handed me a piece of paper when he stopped talking to me. I was like, I've got to go home now. Here's a piece of paper. I thought he'd given me his number. He had not. It was a piece of paper that said, do you like me? Yes, no, please circle. Aww. Yeah. That was Dan Morgan-Jones of the Aspie World. And later on, after I messaged him and everything and just said no, we got talking. It was fantastic. And then he had a diagnosis done for ADHD, autism, OCD, and dyslexia. Anyone got the whole set of that one? Anyone got all four? Hells yeah. Congrats. Most of them. You can get the whole set, don't worry. So he got diagnosed with Asperger's, OCD, autism, and dyslexia, and I was not surprised. I just wasn't. I just really wasn't. People on the spectrum have a way of finding themselves. I have high-functioning ADHD, and I was just gravitated towards people who are also neurodiverse. So we get talking, and everything's fantastic, and everything's going well. And then he says, I have no idea what autism is. And this is 2000, and I was still in my teens. I'm not nearly 40, it's fine. That was a long, long time ago, and Dan was like, every time I Google something on how to deal with this, it's essentially saying, I'm going to die young, and I have no idea what to do. And I was like, you should make a video of your experience, like getting diagnosed later as an adult. And he was like, that's a really good idea. And I was like, I'm going to profit off this, guaranteed. And here I am. He started making YouTube videos on his little website. Anyone remember YouTube in 2007-ish? Yeah, it was just cat videos, flash animations, and Dan going, I have no bloody idea what autism... What? Dog videos. Yeah, I also saw my mum on YouTube as well. She's not here. My wife is, though, which is why I did not go there. I love her madly. And it was this sliding doors moment that happened. It's just like, I lied to a guy at a door at a concert in the early 2000s, and I ended up going on a tour to meet Dan, and I was like, you should start a YouTube channel. And now he's doing all this thing and releasing his book. Scan that QR code. All because I lied to someone many, 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 many years ago. And it's sliding doors moments, and that followed me throughout my entire life in business and life and everything. I struggle for work. Anyone else with the ADHD struggle with jobs? Don't lie, you all do. Everyone hates their job. Everyone. I've got to a point in my life where I start handing people laminated, like just sheets of paper, like, here's everything that's wrong with me and you're going to struggle with and how to fix it. And they still don't hire me. So I had to start my own business. God? Yeah, I had to start my own business because I just could not get and maintain work. Anyone else struggle maintaining with their work? Right? You moved. You wanted a better view? Yeah. Is this a better view? A spot grew on my cheek yesterday. Is this? Yeah, that's why you went that side. You're like, I don't want to look at that guy's spot. I'm sorry. So anyway, Dan and I started making our own business. We started with our own web design company. It did not go very well because we had absolutely no routine, nothing. We got no dopamine out of it because we had no idea what we were doing. We worked for a company called My Geekbox, where they used to send like toys and shenanigans to people. We used to make their magazine, build their website. We had no idea what we were doing. All the while still building a little bit of a YouTube empire. Does anyone actually watch the Aspie World's videos on YouTube? Bugger. Was that all right? Cool. Buggers on the table. So we started making these YouTube videos while we couldn't get work, and they turned out to be really, really popular with people in the education sector. We used to get messages all the time of, hey, we've got kids who are being diagnosed now. Could you come and talk to them and tell us about it, I guess? And that is verbatim a message we had on our email one day. And we said yes. So we went to Liverpool. Good, no Liverpool fans in here. Or rather, yeah, plastic. Bugger. Your first, yeah, Cardiff. Well, this is the most successful thing that's happened in this stadium since 2018 when you got promotion, and then went straight back down.
Yeah, like a yo-yo club. We came close on our first attempt, but we lost to Fulham in the playoffs.
You lost to Fulham. No one loses to Fulham. They're a meme team. Wait, this is your ground, isn't it? Love Cardiff. Ah, yeah, Swansea. We don't like Swansea, right? That's why she's upstairs and you're down here. Can't bump into each other. Yeah.
try to get the one that goes going and says, no, I'm not going in, I'm not going in.
I'm not going to lie, I've lost track of this, mate.
She didn't want to see the stadium next Friday.
No one wants to see Swansea Stadium.
No one,
No.
I've been there last season and we lost 2-0 as well. It wasn't that nice.
You remember when I said I like talking to everyone? Everyone else can shut up. I'm talking to this guy now. What's your name?
Bradley.
Bradley. How you doing, Bradley?
But they call me Bradders.
Bradders, of course they do. Everyone right now is saying, it's Bradders. It's going to be fine, Bradders. We're going to talk after this. Don't worry. I want to hear the rest of that story.
We'll have a conversation.
Distance high five. So anyway, 2005. No, I'm kidding. Sliding doors moments is what we're talking about here. And the sliding doors moments of going to Liverpool and talking in a school was weird because we'd never actually talked to people about it before. Because I was diagnosed quite young, and I got into trouble a lot. It's all right, don't worry. I haven't got to the punchline yet. You can stay. So, I was in trouble a lot at school. Different sliding doors moment. I was put in a remedial class of troublemakers. Was anyone here put in the troublemaker class? Yeah. I was not a troublemaker. I did set fire to a car. I was absent quite a lot, and I did not enjoy school, but I was not a troublemaker. The school system just wasn't designed for me. And I was put in this remedial class of troublemakers. And I'm not kidding, it was a locked room with me and the troublemakers. The bullies, the violent ones. And once they fully beat up on me and got tired, we actually became quite friendly with each other. And there is a statistic I kind of want you guys to take away from this, is that you become 50% of the 5 people you hang around with the most. And there is a very big possibility that I could have ended up as bad as those people. Of those 5, a couple of them are now dead, 2 are in jail, and one's doing great. He's an electrician. His name's Calvin, and he's fine. But back in those days, they just put me in this class. They had no idea what to do with me. No idea. And I was drawn to some of their shenanigans. Starting fights, getting in trouble, breaking and entering, stuff that I really shouldn't have been doing, but the school had just put me in a position where those were my friends now. I didn't want them as my friends. I didn't want anything to do with them. But every day it was like, Alex, you here? Yep. In the room you go. I was one of those kids that, when Ofsted came to visit the school, they sent me home. Like, I was that kid. I jumped out of windows. I had no fear of anything. So if I didn't like being in the science room on the second floor, out the window Daddy would go. People just in the French class on the lower floor would just see a bag fall, and then... I was a troublemaker. I was not the most popular kid in the school, and that didn't change for a very, very long time. But the school put me in a position where I had some bad people in my life, and one day stands out to me, and that is the day I got mugged. Ooh, yeah, look at that. What if I just said that and left? Leave it at that. So I got mugged, and it was the most polite mugging in the entire world. Several of the local bastards. Yep, we're going with that. Cornered me and my friend Luke in a church car park, which seemed very sacrilegious. And they said, give me your phone. I was like, you don't want my phone. I was like, no, I want your phone. Give me your phone. And I handed him my phone. And this moment happened where this mugger turned into a sales rep. Because he took my phone, realized it had no resale value in this entire world, and then tried to give me an upgrade. He gave me my phone back and was like, would you like to buy a new one? And I realized, like, that was the moment in my life where I was like, this is who I would become if I stayed in this town, if I stayed with my friends. I mean, what an opportunist as well. Like, I can't sell that, but I'm sure as hell want to make him buy it. It's a polite mugging, really, because I have to give him money still, and he's going to give me stolen property. So I did the best thing I could do and abandoned my friend Luke and run like hell. And I made a sort of a solemn vow to myself at that moment to kind of change, get away from those friend groups, make some different friends and all that stuff. Sliding doors moment. I could have become that dude if I had just been taking that on the chin and just been like, well, if that's the way to get through in this world, give me all your phones and I'll sell them and stuff. Sliding doors moment. My life could have changed at that moment. My life could have changed if that venue had just said, no, you can't come in. No, just no. Why? Why would you want to do that? That's a Comic Sans lanyard you've made by yourself. But luckily, they're idiots. Sliding doors moments. These moments in your life where if you go one way, your life can change. If you go another, it's a completely different path. Like for me, I'm with the most wonderful human being in the entire world right now. Hopefully for a lot longer than right now as well. And the opportunity to meet her was 2 weeks of life. I had recently come out of a horrendous breakup, and I was feeling all emo and cut my hair differently a little bit. Just started listening to My Chemical Romance, and I was on dating apps. I know. And she was on it. Now, I want to explain to you just how much my family have adore my lovely lady. My mother introduces me to her friends as... Oh, hi, Janice. Lovely to see you. This is Deborah and her partner, Alex. Like, I'm your son, woman. I was not the favorite child. My mum has 3 kids, and I'm her 4th favorite now. That's just how it goes. But the problem I had with my family growing up is my mum did not believe in ADHD. Did anyone else's parents struggle to understand the ADHD-ness of it all? No one struggled? I see a hand over there. So my mom struggled to understand it because she said this to me, man. She was like, I would have known. You're my son. And I was like, I've been telling you for a while that something ain't right in my brain. And to this day, she still has sort of ums and ers about it, over it. She was like, you just wanted to get a laptop in school. I was like, yes, but I needed it. Because these things don't write the way the other hands do. Like, everyone else has got cursive writing, and mine's borderline graffiti. And she just didn't fully understand. I couldn't focus in classroom. I was absent. I was truant. She didn't, honestly, and for her, she didn't really notice that at first because she worked in London all the time and she didn't realize I was truant. She would drive past me as I was walking to school and I would turn around and go straight back home. So I had some struggles understanding, and it took me a while to get out of this rut I was in my life. And it was a sliding doors moment. What if my mum had just been like, oh my God, my kid's an idiot. I need to get him looked at. What would my life be different now? So Dan and I, fast forward to a couple of years ago. No, oh my God, it's many years ago. The pandemic really screwed my perception of time. Does anyone else kind of struggle with that? Everyone's like, it's still 2020, man. Yeah. I'm still in my 20s. I'm not. So Dan and I get a message, and we think it's a scam. It's from a company called the Ruderman Foundation. And they say to us, hey, would you like to come to MIT to talk about autism, ADHD, OCD, and dyslexia, and get a certificate from MIT in leadership training? Spam! Ignored it. We ignored that shit because we've been... Was shit on the table for you? Tidy. Don't shit on the table. Bugger. So we get this message from MIT, and we think it's spam, scam, everything. Click here to sign up. No. And then we start getting phone calls, and like, these scams, they're getting really good. And they know all about us. And it turned out to be real because Dan and I are being conditioned by every single education institute in the world to not expect much. So when MIT, one of the most prestigious learning institutes in the entire world, gives you an email and is like, hey, do you want to come swing by and hang out and get a qualification? We are immediately programmed to be, nah, you're right, thank you very much. So we end up at MIT doing an actual course, and there are people who are listening to us, people who have letters after their names, you know? Like, I've got BSc after my name, but it just stands Bronze Swimming Certificate. Like, that's it. It's up until this moment, it was my highest accomplishment in my life. So we end up at MIT, and we're just in this disability advocacy cohort with some of the most sort of interesting people I've ever met in my entire life, all of whom had been kicked by the system. Everything had just gone wrong. They were struggling to get seen, heard. I mean, look at this young lady. She's yawning. I'll do my best. If I do that with the button, how's that? This can turn into a burlesque show if you want. So, remember what I said about the filter? It's just not there. I know what I said after I said it. But all you guys have to hear it as well. So we're at MIT, and it's going great. And we are just surrounded by these people who are just interested in advocacy, getting the message out, and just doing what they can to be better ambassadors for the world. And for some goddamn reason, goddamn on the table? Nice. They asked us, and it was this humbling moment where he and I were just in Boston, just walking down like the lovely bridge, and it's amazing. It was really, really, the sun was gorgeous. It was a really romantic moment, but I was with Dan. You know, I tried, but... Yes, notice he did actually turn up to that one as well, turned up to MIT. Git. And we had this moment where we looked at each other's lives and we were just like, look, I lied to a concert to get in for free many years ago, and now I'm at bloody MIT getting an actual certificate with my name on it. The fuck? Is that on the table? Tidy. It was going great, and it was just this moment where all these opportunities that had come to our lives were just, we were just talking about it for hours and hours and hours on end in a pizzeria, because we're classy individuals. Pepperoni all around. Dan had pineapple, and I punched him. We were talking about each other's lives, and Dan had these moments where he was diagnosed as an adult, and we both had this kind of discussion where we were like, I know, I wasn't believed until I was older. Dan didn't get diagnosed until he was older. So we kind of came into this at the same time together, being sort of open about it. I know this sounds really romantic. Just lean into it. And we're just looking at each other's lives and these moments that if we had just gone left instead of right, that's what people think. Oh, man, I should have done this or I should have done that. We didn't get the chance. The door was shut on us. The door slid closed on us in just about everything in the world. But these brains that we've been given, our limbic systems, our cerebellums, which just take no and go, I'll find a way, are just beautiful. And they're starting to be sort of recognized and everything. So whenever we do our advocacy now, we go to schools and stuff, there are more and more people who are just like, I started an online business. Any teenagers in the room, by the way? Anyone a teenager? That was a really uncommitted hand. That was just like, Yeah, no, the young man behind you who wasn't fully committed. How old are you, sir? 15. So when was I 15? 2000. What is life like for you right now in school? All right, I say. It's all right, can't complain. What are the ambitions? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? College? College was not an option for me, so congratulations for being in a position to want to go. What do you want to study? Art and games. Nice. And you get the coolest thing in the world right now, which is technology. Because if I wanted to study that when I was your age, I had to knuckle down and go to college to even be allowed to touch the software that made stuff. You can just download Blender now and download Unity and the one that makes Fortnite, whatever it's called. And you can just... I know, it's Unreal. You can do it, isn't it? Unreal Engine. And you can just fucking make games now. You can just do that in your room and stuff. Do you know what I did in my room when I was 15? No, that's a terrible way to segue into that. Yeah, heard it as I said it. Heard it as I said it. Why doesn't this towel bend? Mom, get out! The opportunities were not there for me when I was your age. They just weren't there. First of all, I had dial-up. It was really difficult. So I couldn't even download a video game engine if I wanted to. And there are people out there that I speak to now who are starting businesses very, very young. You got any interest in business? Starting a business. If you go into games design and you flitter out from company to company and you're just a freelance designer, that's a job. You can do that for money now. My mum said she would never make money playing video games, and now I do YouTube. And she was right about half of it. Because I don't play video games. I have no time for it now, unfortunately. But I want to open the dialogue and stuff. Like, I have started a business. I'm doing very well in it. I work in media, marketing, advocacy, public speaking, and I help people who are really, really successful and have got all the letters under their name and everything speak in public. Like, that was the only thing I found myself actually able to do with stand-up comedy. I had this compulsion to be the funniest person in the room, whether I was on the second floor or I wanted to entertain the guys in the classroom below, wanted to make them laugh, and I jumped out of windows quite a lot. So I speak in public quite a lot. Like right now, I have no goddamn idea what I'm saying, but I want to know, like, what you guys want to do. What you guys want to questions about business, friendships, routines. How does a guy with ADHD do this for a living? So if you've got any questions about routines, smart devices, friendships, when Dan and I are setting a date, just ask. I'm going to open up the dialogue now. Questions. Anyone got any questions about life, love, or the pursuit of justice with ADHD or neurodiversity? How do I stop obsessing about the pursuit of justice and live my own life? Very good question. That's deep for number one. What's your name? Thanks, Pad. Okay, yep. Whose eyes am I looking at here? Okay, who's that? Hello, Fluffos. Can I stroke your owl later? Nope. My wife's here, man. So how do I stop focusing about the pursuit of justice? I have a hard deadline every day for the separation between Alex from and just Alex. So I'm Alex from my company. I'm Alex from MIT. I get to throw that out quite a lot now. I'm Alex from all these things until 5 or 6 p.m. And then I'm just Alex, and I've got a wife to cook food for because she's lazy. She's actually one of the best nurses in the entire country, and she's very, very passionate about everything. Terrible cook, though. I got a dog to walk. I have a dopamine to mine, and the pursuit of life and everything for me, I've actually found quite interesting to not do between certain hours. Just hang out. Just make sure that I'm Alex from in so many areas of my life. I'm Alex from the business, Alex from the Aspie world. That if I don't top up the battery of Alex, I can't be Alex from. So I have to have that deadline in my brain where I go, you know what? I'm going to play video games for 2 hours. And my wife like, do it, man. But she looks at me with that, make it an hour, though. And then she's like, dog needs a walk, though. God? He's getting really picky now. But yeah, so honestly, setting a hard deadline in your day and just going, I have to be Pat now, or Pad. I've got to be Pad. In order to be Patrick from something, you have to make sure Patrick is charged. So just find your hobbies. I know, isn't it? First of all, well done for saying that out loud. That's a big one, because how old are you, Pad? Nice. When I was 20, ain't no one going to be sitting in a room and listen to me say shit like that. The shit on the table? No, we've already been over this. No one's going to listen to me when I was your age. So saying it out loud is half the battle. Having the intrusive thoughts. We've all had them. Ain't no one in this room going to be like, I've never had one. We've all been driving and thought, I bloody wonder if. I live on an island, man, surrounded by cliffs. Like, nah. I've seen it in movies. I could survive it. Yeah. Interesting segue in that one. Groundhog Day. We'll talk after this one. I'm not going to therapize you on this one. I saw a hand that was just like, yes.
How did you manage to become Alex from, and then Alex, the one at home?
How did I... So
Yeah. How did you, and how long did it take?
I accidentally fell into being Alex from in everything, because I was so interested in everything. I was so interested in business, so interested in everything. So I threw myself into everything. Charging Alex's battery came afterwards. It's when the burnout came. It's when the gifted child, who was a rebellious one, burnt out, and suddenly he was working in a petrol station and just realized that, oh my God, if I don't take care of myself, I can't grow. So I burnt out first. And then it was just remembering that I like video games. I get my dopamine from many different sources now. Right now it is filling the exercise rings on my watch, which my lovely wife told me to do. And I get dopamine from it every day at like 10 to 10 some nights where I'm like, oh no, I've still got to do like 2,000 steps. Straight out the door. And I will go for a run, rain, whatever. I just do it. And that gives me dopamine. And if I'm charged up enough to be me, then I can go back into my clients, I can go back into these rooms and just have fun and stuff. Like yesterday, I came here from the Isle of Wight, I'll hold for applause, and I was fucking knackered. Like, I'm getting tired a lot earlier now. And then the wife was just like, should we get 5 guys? And I was like, that's a weird thing. I was like, no, from Uber Eats. Because we don't have Uber Eats. Simmer down. Should we get burgers delivered and everything? I was like, okay. And it arrived, and my brain just went... And I was the happiest I've ever been. She wanted to break up with me on the trip here because we missed one train, and my brain was like, the plans changed. Fucking plans changed. The woman said platform 4, it was platform 1. Kicking my bag and everything, and she was like, I think I might go. But then the burger arrived, and I was like, hey, I'm back, baby. So it's just recognizing what makes you happy. Like, I was never going to no one gives a damn about my songwriting. But I'll sit and play guitar by myself, and my battery will just go... And as long as that's there, I can go out and do anything in the world. As long as I'm charged, I can still be Alex Fromm. But to get to that point, I had to burn out.
So self-recognition and then finding ways of actually dealing with how you are and what makes you tick.
Yeah, I said yes to everything. I said yes to everything. So I used to tour around the world as a guitar technician every day for like months on end. And I burnt out because I was so happy doing that. I was so happy being Alex from Zebrahead, Alex from Goldfinger, Alex from... that I just forgot to be Alex. Simple as that. And I saw myself falling back into the pattern of the friends who I really shouldn't have been friends with back in the day. The sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle was quite alluring. The stealing phones life was quite alluring, but it was recognizing that was a terrible idea and just taking up yoga. Not yoga. Just find something that you do, that you enjoy. It doesn't matter if it makes money for you. It doesn't matter if it's profitable or something that's going to grow into a business. And it could be, I don't know, hitting a tennis ball up and down for an hour and a half. As long as it makes you happy, as long as it gives you dopamine. I can't tell you your dopamine source is wrong. It's not going to be the same as mine. Just find... I'll get to the emails, God. Jesus, he's picky. These evangelicals. But yes, find your dopamine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make you money. It doesn't have to be anything that's building something bigger. Just something that makes you happy in yourself. It could be drawing, could be knitting, could be sewing, could be punching a pillow, I don't know, kicking a badger. No, don't kick badgers. They're fast. And they bite. But yes, find your dopamine. There was another hand up here somewhere. Did it come? Did it go? Hello?
Physical exercise.
Yeah.
Important. You know, like...
I used to be 21 stone. At the height of the pandemic, I was a fatty boom batty. I was what Dan referred to as a 2-man job and proper thick. I was juicy in all the wrong ways. And my partner at the time left me for it. She was like, whoa, you're hecka chunk. She started seeing someone else without telling me, and then, I found out. All that stuff happened. I was a big boy. And I just had to get out. And I had to change things. And the stress helped at first. I lost the first stone. Ooh! The trousers don't pinch quite as much as they used to. And then the exercise did change, and this is gonna. I can feel the smile on a wry, smug face happening. She's like, I bloody told you exercise was gonna do it. I bloody told you. I walk a dog now a lot. You got a dog?
It's on my plan.
That bastard needs like 4 miles every hour. Because I suck on a treadmill. Shut up. Got to pay for the gym subscription somehow. I suck on a treadmill. I suck on the weights. Steady. Grow up. I'm terrible at the gym. That better? And what I actually found was basketball. basketball changed my way of staying fit. Because if I was running on a treadmill and I did a kilometer, I was like, I'm done, and I'd leave. But if I'm on a cycling thing, my brain tells me I'm done. But in basketball, in a team sport and everything, if I don't get back into my position after I've scored a sick three-pointer, which happens sometimes, then the team suffers. And suddenly, playing basketball for a couple of hours, I run 8-10 kilometers accidentally. And the weight just fell off. Also, having one of the UK's best nurse nutritionists helps. Because she's like, don't bloody eat it. You don't bloody need it. And then she just slaps samosas out of my face all the time. Like, try and get a chalk ice in my mouth. But exercise helps. And I can feel her smug face. The endorphins, the dopamine effect of it, and the result, because the results are slow. And we all know with dopamine and ADHD and stuff, like, it sucks when you don't get the results straight away. Like, I need to run, and then I'll be thin in 6 months. That's not good for me. That's why the watch helped, because it was a micro goal. Every day I was like, I got to complete these. And then suddenly I was down in weight, and I could wear denim that I can just... And people ask me for my number and why I'm there in the first place. And it's going great. Like, exercise helps. I hate saying it out loud now. I hate it. But yeah, thank you. Thank you. He's just given me his number. It's 5. Any questions? Let's go. Yes.
Can you tell me what happened with the school situation? You were saying that you were put in with that group of...
Yes. So I was a gifted student, but I was a mouthy little bastard as well. So I was straight away into top sets and everything, because my first boarding school when I was younger, that's right, this voice is fake, they knew I was different, and they taught me at my level until I was 10. And then I was sent to a normal high school, which was the worst thing that ever happened to me, but also one of the best things, proper sliding doors moment. Because the school had no idea how to handle me. My old teachers did. They realized, like, sometimes Alex just leaves room and plays piano. I was not allowed to do those things, which is why I became truant, why I became sort of disruptive, because I was bored. I could read the textbook, regurgitate the textbook, done. When is the exam? 3 months away. Fuck. And then I just got bored, became truant, started like setting fire to my desk and stuff. The car came later. And the teachers just put me in the teachers weren't equipped to deal with it. We had no learning support teachers. We had no sort of additional help. They had nothing. And it wasn't their fault, except for Miss McBinty. It was definitely her fault. Oh, yeah, still haunts me, that woman. They had no idea what to do with me. So instead of lighting a fire under me, because I was gifted in some areas, I could read a textbook and regurgitate it, like, straight away. They put me in a remedial class with photocopies of the book, like 2 pages at a time. They slowed me down. And the school just had no idea what to do with me, because they were like, Alex, you came to this school from a really, like, big and important private boarding school. Why you shit now? And instead of, like, looking in themselves and being like, how can we support this guy? They were just like, it's his fault. He's buggered it up. And they just, I cannot think of a single moment outside of one teacher, Mr. Flood, who recognized that I was doing things differently and there was a reason for my ways. Mr. Flood was an advocate for me, and one of the reasons I actually wanted to become an advocate as well in my life. Mr. Flood took me away from classrooms all the time and said, if you ever burn out, get frustrated and walk out, just come to my room. Come to my class. Doesn't matter if I'm teaching. Doesn't matter if I'm on my break. Just, if you want to play piano, I'll kick the music room door in, and we'll do something. And Mr. Flood's one of the greatest people I've ever met in my entire life. But the school just did not care enough to even try. It was my fault that I was disruptive. It was my fault that I was truant. It was my fault that I set fire to the desk. It was my fault. No, definitely. No one else made me set fire to that desk. And the school just didn't care enough. They just didn't care. And it was a sliding doors moment. If they had cared enough, I could have taken where I am now in my life in my mid-30s. He confessed. I could have taken where I am in my mid-30s and been here 10 years ago. And then have way more runway in front of me to play with. But sliding doors moments that sometimes are good, sometimes are bad. I was truant in everything, which sort of taught me how to engineer my own way in life. So I lied my way into a gig which made me meet Dan, which made me go to MIT, which made me get invited to... So are we in Swansea? Welcome back. I lied at a concert years ago. I went to MIT, and now I'm in Cardiff because of decisions I made and paths I had to forge myself. If I could have had the energy that I had younger, if I had been sort of motivated when I was younger by people around me, like we all have now, we found our people. If I could have had this when I was 15, I could be fucking Elon Musk right now. If I had just had someone believe in me. And I had to believe in myself. And that's what it is, man. It's a sliding doors moment in your life. There's someone right now in this room who's in a job they hate and something they want to do. Just fucking do it. Mate, just find a way to do it. Pirate some software. Do whatever you got to do. Just make your own way. Like, for me, the system didn't work, but there are people out there who are genuinely trying to help now. Ask for help. Say it out loud that you're having intrusive thoughts. Say it out loud that you need help, because I did, but without words. Mine was a fire. If you want to know about the car fire, come and ask me about that. Anyway, I'm done now. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I'll be surprised. Every time. My name is Alex Watts. If you want to follow me on Instagram, that thing is there. Dan Morgan-Jones from the Aspie World, his book is on sale shortly. Please scan that QR code and buy it, but you don't worry about that one. Follow me on Instagram. I'm fucking hilarious. Thank you very much. Oh, wait. One thing. Dan's partner is not well. We're going to point the camera around and we're going to all say, "Get well soon, Naomi," on 3. Okay, you ready? Dan, I have your audience here. Don't worry, I've taken good care of them. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Get well soon, Naomi. Yeah. That'll be £400. Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Alex Watts.